And I'll kind of just start from scratch. I'll just kind of come into week 2. So just kind of going through the steps. I'm going to do a yarn create React app, Tic Tac Toe. I should give it a better name. Okay. Close all of this. Get that open while this is running. I can even go create a GitHub repo. It's going really fast. Spring 2. All right. Add dot. Commit -m init. Get remote. Did I spell origin wrong? I spelled the origin wrong. Okay, so now that's up on GitHub. I have this open up in code, and I could run yarn start. Just kind of get this all set up. Cool. Let's see here. I also have this in the Neo notes. I also have like a little code sandbox that's doing this, but we'll see if we how far I stray from it. Okay, so when kind of going through this, you know, I like to maybe come up with a little bit of a game plan before I start coding. And I can maybe just do this in the README. I kind of gave you a little bit of one, but I'll just kind of start from scratch. This is something I feel, you know, you really start trying to do this before you start the homework, or even before little sections. Just maybe on a piece of paper or like in your head, you know, come up with some sort of like game plan or something, or strategy. So with Tic Tac Toe, I know I'm going to want to like draw a 3x3 grid. And one of the tricky things that I kind of gave you a hint with this game was how was I going to represent like something like Tic Tac Toe, which is a 3x3 grid, into like some sort of data structure. Like how can I represent that? And then that's where you kind of want to think about these things. So for me, was thinking, you know, I could represent it as an array. I could maybe do it in an array of arrays, you know, with like 3 things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like word 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are my pieces. I think that's a little complicated. I think I could just do or, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just have 9 pieces. Have an array of 9 things. And those values could either be, you know, an empty string if it hasn't been picked, or it could be an X if X picked it, or it could be O. Right? So I have an array of strings whose value is going to be either an empty, X, or O. And then, you know, my board, I can just kind of think about the board as being like the index of that array. Like, so if I wanted to know what like the middle piece of the board was, that's going to be the 4th index in my array. Does that kind of make sense? If I wanted to know what the last, like that corner bottom right piece, that's going to be this element. Cool. So this part can be tricky, you know, like how do I go from a game I know so well to JavaScript? So a lot of different ways you could do this. I think just doing it as like an array of 9 things, 9 strings, that's like the simplest. And usually the simplest way is can largely sometimes be the best. Okay, so I'm going to want to draw a 3x3 grid, you know, with an array like that. Cool. That's how I'm representing it. Some next things I might want to do is like, clicking a square. You know, just some thoughts I have here, like, you know, shouldn't be able to click if someone's already clicked. I want to like check, you know, for when after this, and then, you know, probably like alternate your turn. So check for wins kind of like its own little thing. This one could maybe like this kind of logic where it's like checking for when. There might be like, there's always like these usually like creative ways to like maybe see if like to check for this stuff. I don't think there's really I don't know, I haven't really seen like a super creative way to do this. And for now, I'm just trying to get this to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like, you know, pull all the combinations. So it's going to be, or sorry, I'm going to like take all the things in my arrays that would be considered a win by index. So say if I have 0, 1, and 2, I have an array of those indexes. You know, if those are all, what I can do is I can check these. If these are all the same thing, like if those are all X's, that's a win. If those are all O's, that's a win. So my winning arrays are going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's going to be my middle row. So what I could say are the values in these arrays all the same. But not an empty string. Does this, am I making sense here? If I have an array like of this index 6, 7, 8, and they're all O's, that means O1. They're all X's, that mean X1. What's the other, so what are the other combinations? Let me see if this is kind of sinking in. What are the arrays I'm going to want to check?
You could do 0, 3, 6, like going down like the first column.
Yeah, so 0, 3, 6, that's going down the first column.
1, 4, 7.
1, 4, 7.
2, 5, 8.
8.
2, 4, 6.
2, yeah, 2, 4, 6. That gives me my
0, 4, 8.
Yeah, these ones, okay. 0, 4, 8. So yeah, this is a little bit of what's called like brute force. It's kind of like, right, this is probably the simplest way to kind of think about this. Like I'm just going to go through my board, like go through these arrays. Like I could have an array of these arrays and go through and check each one. Are these all the same thing? Something like check for when, this could also just be something you like as you're planning this out, you say like, I'm going to do this later. This sounds a little complicated. but you know you're going to need to do that. You can always like kind of push it off to the side. Cool. So I think that is, well, you know, check for win. You know, if win, you know, show winner, stop game. I think like a good bonus feature would maybe be like a reset. Now you could do this, like I said, on a piece. I'm just doing this on VS Code so we can kind of like see it together. You could do this on a piece of paper or in your head. But this is the kind of thing you want to do as you're coding. You want to kind of break this up into problems. Sweet. So because now I can kind of, now I know how I'm going to represent this. I know how I'm going to represent the board. And I have a decent game plan. So let's just do this in my app.js. All right. So what I'm going to do up here is I'm going to make my board, which is just going to be 9 empty things for now. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8. I feel that's okay. I think that's 9. We'll see. So my board is going to be changing, right? What does that kind of make you think of? If something's going to be changing in your app, what word should be popping up in your head? Starts with an S.
State.
State. So yeah, I'm going to want the use state hook. So I'm going to make a board and a set board function equal use state init board. Why did I go through the trouble of making this initial board here instead of just plopping that right there? This was me kind of planning ahead for when I do my reset function. When I do my reset function, I can just set my board to the init board. And I don't have to type that out again. Cool. Then I can come in here. I'm going to do like a div class name equals, we'll call this something like, I don't know, game board. And then here I'm going to do I'm going to throw this out to a function to render board. Render board. Now, I'm kind of skipping a step here, but what I would have maybe done before this, I might have just looked at like, you know, draw 3x3 grid HTML, CSS. You know, come in here, and this is actually the one I took this from. So I could do it on my own, or I could, you know, maybe look at like a 3x3 grid. So this is the one I used for this example. So if I look at this, I have a div class game board, and this could just be something, you know, maybe if I'm getting ahead of myself, I could just put that in there. You know, kind of do that first piece of just getting the 3x3 grid in there. And just like kind of speed this along, you know, I could copy this CSS. Now, normally I wouldn't want you to just like copy and paste this, like, you know, go through, try to see what's going on, because here they're using, it's not Flexbox, it's grid, it's CSS grids, which is kind of like Flexbox, but it really gives you more control over, it's really powerful. It gives you a lot of control on how you space stuff. So we can like specifically say how big we want each row to be and how big we want each column to be. So, and we can maybe play around with this a little. Let's make one of these like 300 and we'll make this 400. So we can see that change. But what I have here is I have that board. I could go to my React app, use states not defined. Let's import that. So with the grid, see with the grid, I can get like really specific how big I want those things to be. Because what was it? It was, if I look at here, I did 200, 300, 200 for my rows. So 200, 300, 200 for my rows. And then I did 200, 200, 400 for my columns. 200, 200, 400 for my columns. So, but we don't want to do that. We want those all the same size. You know, maybe those are like a little too big. So I could take this and, you know, I can kind of start with that. And then, you know, maybe if it's too big, I can go in and I can change it. Cool. So there's that drawing the grid. Well, now I don't want to just hard code this. I want to actually use my board piece. So I will kind of just maybe like leave one of these for demo as a comment. That's what I want to create. I want to create 9 of those in my render board. So I can do render board. I want to call this right because I want this to render right as my page mounts. So I can do my board dot map. Go through each board. You know, I could take this div. I need to switch this to a class name. I need to switch that to class name. And then for here, I can just do B. Maybe I should call this like piece or value or something. But, and you know, maybe in my initial state, I can throw like a couple X's and O's just to see that, you know, some are going just for kind of testing. All right, let's do H1. So we can see this tic tac toe. Where is my board? Well, first of all, if I don't see it, I should check my console. Let's clear my console, refresh. Console looks good. That's not my error. Okay, so no errors, but it's not rendering my board. So it's nice that I tested it before because I did see it work, but now it's not working. What did I forget to do? What is my render board function returning?
Nothing. You need to return it.
Yeah, nothing. I forgot to put my return keyword. There we go. There's my board. Sweet. And then, you know, hey, let's just do I know this is a bonus feature, but this shouldn't be too hard. On click. What can I do on click here? I can just, well, I'm going to throw this into a function. I'm going to call this function reset. Call it reset. Now I can set my board to init board. I mean, it's not doing much because that is my initial board with the X and O. Cool. Like I kind of that's why I'm throwing this init board in its own little thing, because now I can reuse that. I can use it here and reuse it here. Cool. So let's go. If I look at my README, kind of like, cool, that looks done. So let's go to clicking a square. So I want to be able to click a square. Cool. So that should be pretty straightforward. On click, handle click. So this can also be a good way to, as you're doing this, one step at a time. Log. Wait, and I also have this warning. Each list should have a unique key prop. Okay, we'll kind of look at that in a second. This is kind of going to relate to this clicked. Okay, so cool. When I click on this, it's clicking. But that's not really, I need another piece of information, right? That's really not useful. I need to know which one I'm clicking. So I'm also like, I came up with this strategy. I'm really using the index of the array to tell me which thing it is in my game piece. So since I planned this out a little bit, and I think what I have is a good strategy of using the index to represent the piece, I now somehow want to, like, what would be really nice is if I click this, I could get the index of the thing. So I could maybe do something like this. I could maybe like make this an object and give it an ID and have that ID be the index and then like a value. So I could change my data, like I could change my plan and have my boards be a whole bunch of like IDs and values, because then I could get, let me show you this way. I'm going to call this init board object. So I did it this way. Just need to come in here and copy this like 9 times. So that could be ID 1, ID 2, ID 3. And 8. And I could just use this init board object. And then I could do piece.value and grab the ID. So I would have the ID. Piece.id. Init board. Oh, I don't want to comment that out. Piece.value. Oh yeah, it's there. See, so now I have the index of the array. And I could do that by just changing my initial plan. So that sometimes can happen, like, because I need that information. I need, the way I'm deciding, I need that like index. Probably should just call that index. ID is probably not a good name. Should call that index. But does anyone know a different way I could do this without, by still using just this array? Map actually gives me the index. As I map through in an array, it will also give me the index. So I could do piece and I can do index. And let's just change that back to my original plan. And there's my index. So now I have that index. So once again, it doesn't matter how you do it, but what matters is I need that index. Because what I need to do is on this handle click, I need to pass it the index. And then I can give that to my function. And then I can say something like this, clicked item index. Clicked item 0, clicked item 1, clicked item 2, clicked item 3. So now I know which square I'm clicking. I think this probably was this like a challenging part right here to, you know, not only do you have to add the click event, you have to know which square you're clicking. I think probably did some of you get caught here, or stuck here, or hung up here?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So that, just a couple ways to solve that, but it really comes back to like, you know, the plan of how I have this board and I want to keep track of the index. So either of these ways would have worked. But now I have the index. And now I can do something like this. So what do I want to do? I want to set game piece. Well, I first want to, well, let's do it like this. Let's do it in order. I want to check, you know, game piece equals, you know, an empty string. Then I want to set game piece. Then I want to check when, right? Those are kind of the steps here. So I can do this here. So I could do something like this. If, so now I'm going to use that board state. And now I have my lovely index. If board index, you know, does not equal an empty string, what do I want to do here?
Not be able to click.
Yeah, you know, a little trick I could do. Let's just return. So this way, if it does not equal that empty string, I'm just going to return, and this essentially just stops the function here. Cool. So this is going to return undefined. I'm not doing anything with this. I'm not storing this handle click to a value. I just want to like quit. So I say return. Okay, so if we get past here now, and then I think I don't need to have this comment there anymore. Kind of describes, I'll leave it there, but now we can set the game piece. So it might be tempting to say board at index. Oh, well, crap. What do I set it to X or do I set it to O? Maybe kind of overlook the little thing. X or O, which one? Whose turn is it? I don't know. In this function, how am I going to know? And the player turn is going to change, right? So what does that make you think of again?
Use state.
Use state. I need some state for that. I need some state to tell me whose turn it is. So you could do like player or current player. And, you know, set that initially to X. But this is either going to be X or O. So I'm going to do And this would work too. You could do current player and like set it equal to X or Y. But I'm gonna do just one, just a little, not a trick, but I'm just gonna say like, I'm just gonna call this X turn. And this is gonna be true. So I'm gonna have this state, is it X's turn? Because I know if it's X's turn, if that's true, I know it's X's turn. If X turn is false, then I know it's O's turn. And a Boolean is just going to be a little cleaner to work with than a string X or Y. You could definitely get it to work if you had this, if that's how you chose to do it. This is just how I'm deciding to do it. Because now I can do something like this. X turn question mark. Set that piece equal to X. If it's not, have it be equal to O. So if that's true, we're going to set this index to X. If this is false, we'll set it to O. So there's our lovely ternary. Except I threw this out in Slack. What's the issue with this though, as far as React is concerned? I might have like glanced over this a little quickly, so we can't do it this way. Does anyone know why? Say, okay, so there's a rule with React, with React state. You can't mutate state. This is a little confusing. I can say you can't, let me say this, maybe this will make it, you can't directly mutate state. I'm taking my board state and I'm changing it. I'm changing like one of the indexes. I cannot do that. You need to go through set state to change state. Okay. So first of all, I'm not going to change the board state. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, so this is bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a clone. Let board clone equal ... board. Cool. Now I have a clone of the board. It is a different board. I can go ahead and do whatever I want with this. This is good. Doesn't mutate state. And then I can call my set board with the board clone. So yeah, you can't do something like this, or you don't want to like change your board and then set your board to board. Don't do that. If you ever need to change something, you need to do it in a way that does not mutate the state. We'll let this set board function, because really what the set board functions, it's going to take that clone thing and it's going to do stuff behind the scenes to update the DOM. And then it will update our board state for us. So you don't update that board state, you let the function do it. And you pass it the thing you want it to update it to. All right. Oh yeah, so now that I have a value So I'm getting that error. It needs a key. Well, I can give it the key. The index is unique, so I'll give it the index as the key. I no longer need to show the index here. There we go, X. X. Okay, looks like it's still X. So what do I need to do here? How do I toggle the turn? Set X turn. Well, let's just make it the opposite of whatever X turn is. So if it's X's turn, then it's going to set X turn to false. So I can do X, O, X, and then yeah, when I select on any of these, it's returning. And there we go. And I click reset, that resets the board. Boom. Cool. Okay, so now we need to do the check win. I'm not going to do this here. I'm going to write a function called check win. And this is going to show also another little kind of got you with the use state hook. Now really pay attention to this one. This is more, I don't know if anyone got this far and noticed this issue. Okay. I'm just going to do a console.log board. This one will bite you in the butt, I guarantee it, at some point. But so I'm setting the board right here, right, to that clone. And let's also do right here, I'm going to do a console.log about to set board with board clone, and then we'll log that. Right, just throwing in some logs so we can see it. I'm going to clear my console. I'm going to click there. All right, about to set board with board clone. There's my board clone. It's X, which I selected, and then the rest are empty. But if I look at my function call in check win, let's just reset this. So that one has the X. This one does not have the X. This is not there. Let's do the O. So the clone board has the XO. This board doesn't. You see how it's like one behind? Now my UI is right. My UI has the 3 X's, but in this one, it does not. This should be confusing. Right? Because I'm setting my board here to the board clone. And I'm logging the board clone, it's right. And when I render my board, I go through my board, I map them, I have the 3 things. So why is my board right here? It's off by 1, right? It's like the older version of it. Board is off. You know, it's like, is not updated yet.
Like it's delayed.
Yeah, it's delayed. It's here, it's fine. And this rendered board, it's fine, but it's not right here. It's like, what the hell? That is confusing. Well, really, this is this is like an async. This is like asynchronous. Now it's not like returning a promise. It just doesn't happen right away. So, and to show you this, like when I set the board, you would expect it to be the new board, right? It's not. Confusing. This is a little confusing. So it's not, so this is async. So board is not set here. It's going to get set by the time we render, by the time we return this. So this here, it will be set because this is called within this return. Now React is doing this for some like efficiency reasons. So React has they're not trying to make this confusing. They're doing this because like they can make it more efficient. But you just have to know this set board, it's not going to set this board like right away. I guarantee it's going to bite everyone. You're going to forget about it. It's going to bite you in the butt, but try to remember that. Okay. Board is not set yet. It will be by the time it renders. But here in the function and in elsewhere in your functions, it's not set yet. So how do I check my win? How do I use this function? I could just like not have this function right here, right? And do all the logic here and use my clone board. Well, that's going to be messy. I want this to be in its own function because this is going to be a messy function. What can I do? How do I get around this? How do I get my board here to be the updated board in this function?
Can you use the not delayed board?
The not delay, you mean this board cloned one?
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to pass that to this function. Cool. So now I'm going to use board. Now this board is not the same as that board because now I'm defining it as a parameter. I could, you know, if this is confusing, you could change the name. Current board. But now when I do that, and I'm now that does have it. Now it's updated with that. Sweet. So now I have this board ready to go, and now I can check it. So cool. Let's go to this README. I have all of this stuff that I was going to use for this function. Now we get to do like a little brain teaser. So I don't know what to call that, winners. Just going to make it an array of arrays. So I have an array of all my winning combos. Maybe I should call it that, winning combos. Okay. I want to go through each of these. I don't need to return anything with this, right? I just want to go through each thing and perform a function. That's why I'm not using map. I'm going to use the for each function. Could go through each thing, each, I'll just call it winning combo. Should we log this WC just to see what it is? Okay. Let's clear my console. Let's reset. See, my winning combo is the index of the index I want to check in my board of each thing. So I want to go through each combo and say, hey, is index 0, 1, 2 of my board, are those all X's? Are those all Y's? Right, so now this is like another problem. Let's just kind of think of some like cases. So I have X, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to say like I'm going to do board. Well, let's think about some of our cases. X, X, X. That's a win. And O. Let's just do our 2 winning cases. O. That's a win. And anything else is a loss. Does that kind of make sense what I'm trying to do? Okay, so let's do this. Let's say first, second, third equal WC. Or actually, how do I want to do this? Well, let me ask you this. If I do first, second, third, what are these going to be? Maybe this will be a better name if I call I1, I2, I3. First of all, what is WC? WC is going to be like a winning combo. It's one winning combo. It's going to be an array of 3 things. And it's going to be the index of the thing that I want. So I'm destructuring those indexes. So if I do a console.log, let's just log I1. I1 is just that first index, 0. See how it's matching that first index, 3, 3, 6, 6. Console.log I2, that's going to be the second index in that winning combo array. See what I'm doing? 0, so 0, 0, 1, 1. Well, if I do console.log board I1. Now that's going to go into my board. That's going to give me the index. I didn't say that, or did I? Here, eventually, I should see an X. Where should that X be? Oh, I called this current board, sorry. Current board. That's going to confuse me. See here, if I have the 0 index, it's going to be X. So that's how I can grab anywhere it's the 0 index, that's X. All right, so now I have the way to grab the index from my winning combos. And what I can do, so I'm going to go through each winning combo. I can do this. I'm first going to check, if current board does not equal an empty string, right? If it equals an empty string, that's like the first thing in my winning combo is an empty string. That's not a win. Okay. I'm going to do a huge big and statement. Okay. Well, does the thing at one of these winning combinations in my current board, does that equal the second thing? And does it equal the third thing? That third index. Right here, it doesn't care if it's X or O. I'm first checking, is that first thing in the array, is it empty? If it's empty, there's no reason to continue. All right, well, let's now check, hey, is the board at I1 the same as the thing at I2? And, oh, sorry, this is not a good check. I need to, and is the thing at I1 the same as this thing at I3? That is our winning case. So I could return current board of I1. Or what do I want to do here? Actually, maybe I don't want to do it for each loop here. So I kind of want to break here. So if I find, do you see it? Okay, let's just say, are people confused by the logic here? Let's just start simple. Let's just say we have this one winning combo. And that's going to be the top. So that's going to be the index 0, 1, 2. Now we are eventually going to have more, so I'm going to do it like I want to go through each of these things. So what I do is I pull the indexes off of that winning combo. So in this case, this would just be 0, 1, 2. So I take my current board, the thing I pass, I look at the value, the current board at 0. If it's an empty string, it's not a win. If it's, let's say it's X at index 0, meaning I clicked right here, it's X. Well, let's see, does index 0, which would be X, does that equal current board at index 2, which would be the first index? If that is also X, then we'll go to the next one. Okay, does current board at index 0 equal current board at index 2? If those are both X's, then we know we have the 3 X's. But yeah, actually, we can't break from, so what I want to do here is I want to break, but we cannot break from a, we can't break from a for each loop. So I actually need to switch this to a for each loop, or like a reduce. Let's do a reduce. No, actually, I'm going to do a for loop. One of the rare times to do a for loop. I less than winning combos dot length, because that's what I'm going through. Can honestly never remember if this is less than 1, but all right, so then I can get rid of that. So what I'm going to do before this, I'm going to just declare a winner, let winner equal null. So I'm going to start out by saying there's not a winner. If we get here, I'm going to say winner equals whatever that, if that first piece is 0 or yeah, O or X. And then at the end, I can return winner. Okay. I'm going to get rid of these comments here. And then here I can go ahead and break that for loop. I don't need to keep on checking if there's not a winner. I mean, if I found a winner, I can just break. Whew. Let's see if this is working. And I broke it somewhere. We have a can't use return outside of a function. Where is that? Oh, I'm missing the parenthesis there. Oh, now I need to define these because I deleted those. Let I, maybe I'll call this I0. So it's I0. No, I'm going to leave that in index 1. Index 1, index 2, index 3. This is going to equal my winning combos at I. Good old lovely. For loops are pretty hard to read, right? But it's the same. I'm going through each of my things. So winning combos at I is going to be each of my winning combos. I grab the indexes off of those. And then I'm just checking to see, you know, if they're not empty and if they're the same thing. That's a win. Go through each of those winning combos we hard coded. And if we get it, we'll say winner. Okay. So as I'm testing this out, I'm going to be really nice to myself and just like, let's just test that first one. I keep on getting errors. Expected assignment or function call. So this is line 33. Winner equals current board. There we go. I had a triple equal there. I don't know what I was thinking. I want to set winner equal to that thing. And I'm also going to do an alert right here. Okay, so let's see if that's working. Null. Oh, wait. Winner. And oh, there we go. There's my winner. So notice what I'm doing here. I'm setting winner equal to null. So if I don't ever win, it's just winner's going to return null. And remember, null has a falsy value. So now what I can do here is I can do something like this. I can do an if statement. And for now, I'm just going to do a win. And I'm actually going to set X turn after I check the win. why I want to do that is, and maybe I'll do that in an else. I don't want to change the player if someone wins, because I'm going to want that for like the message of who won. Cool. Let's go ahead. Let's refresh. I can do X. Okay, we have a win. So I can make this a little more meaningful. I could say like let winner equal X turn question mark. So if it's X's turn, then X won. And then if not, Y won. And then I could just interpolate this, you know, winner won. Reset. Let's just refresh. See if my diagonal is working. Oh, damn it. I'm trying to win. There we go. X1. If you got to like this check win, I maybe should just throw in this as like a bonus. Because if you got, I think if you got to the point where you could at least, you know, visually see that you won or not, but then having the computer do it, that's a little more difficult. Questions on this? There's a little, so I will also say this, there's one little bug here, if you notice. So I'm going to, I have that X1, but I don't have the X there, right? In my UI. And this alert's kind of bad. So once again, it's because like it's kind of like this board. It's coming back to this problem where it's like setting the board, but it's not, it hasn't actually re-rendered it. So once again, maybe a better way to do this with, instead of just a alert. Once again, I could maybe have some state. Set winner. So by default, that's going to be null. And then here, I could like set winner to be winner. And then I could go ahead and or I could do like a little, one of our little short circuit evaluations, winner and just interpolate this winner one. X1. Now we can keep on playing. So another thing I could change here is if board index does not equal an empty string, or if we have a winner. Because I don't want to be able to keep on playing if, you know, there's a winner. Oh, X1. But now I can't, so it says X1, but now I can't click on anything. And then for my reset, I want to set winner to be not winner. And maybe just to be fair, I could like set X turn. So just kind of reverse to not X turn. Sorry, I want to set winner here to null. And there we go. So now I can reset. I said Y. I don't know why I said Y. O1. Maybe it's just because it's X and Y. There we go. O1, I can hit reset. Now I can restart my game. The O's turn, O1. I'm going to kind of comment all these console logs. It's going to make stuff messy. But cool. Pretty, that is definitely a little challenging, right? I was kind of maybe hoping or like that how, or like maybe as far as you got would just be to getting the board drawn and able to maybe get the UI working without the game win check. I know there's probably a step even there that was a little challenging to like, how do I grab the index of that board? Like making that connection. So how many of you thought this was going to be easier before you started it? And then it was like way harder than you thought.
I did.
Yeah. Get used to that feeling of like you think it's going to be easy because you know tic tac toe so well, right? But coding really makes you like, well, first of all, there's some of these nuances with React, like for instance, how this you set state hook works. Like that's not set. I think another tricky thing was getting the index, making that connection from the click, getting the index of the thing that was clicked. That cannot be straightforward. And then even something like this, checking for a win, you know exactly what a win is in tic-tac-toe, right? There's no confusion there. That can be hard to throw into code. And like this looks a little messy, right? This isn't the only way. There's a lot of different ways you could do this. So did anyone try the check win function? Does anyone want to like share their attempt?
I mean, we got it to work. We didn't just try it.
You want to share your how you check the win? I'll be honest, I didn't want to, I copy and pasted this from a solution. I didn't want to like type this out. So this is a copy.
Yeah, let me pull up my my code. Okay, share screen. Okay, so for the, let's just make this full screen. So we did a similar thing. We had an array of arrays with all the different win conditions. And then basically had like a game state where when nothing's happened, it's default. But then there are 3 different potential changes to it, either X victory, O victory, or a tie when there are no empty spaces left. Yeah, it works. And then my friend Colby made it so that the text changes to green on the game when somebody wins.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so nice. You even got the tied feature in there. So yeah, it's a similar strategy of getting all those winning combinations, the index of the combinations, and just doing it for each loop. And yeah, it looks like you're just checking all those combinations to see, you know, do they all equal X? Do they all equal O? Or if there's none of them, to get to that tied position. So
Mhm.
cool. So when you had that set state, was that you just, what was that state? You
What
want
do
to
you
share that?
mean?
You want to share that again?
Yeah. What do you mean? What is
Yeah,
this?
you have a set. Okay. Just with your line, just a little suggestion here. So you called your you have this game state and then you call it set state.
Mhm.
I would just call that, it's kind of convention to call it like set and then the name of the state. So it'd be set game state.
Gotcha.
That's just a little readability thing. So
Yeah,
cool.
makes sense.
But yeah, sweet. No, that's that, and this is a great example. Like if I were to since I told you not to look at any solutions or try not to, I would really expect to see like the win, like this win, how you check for a win to be different on every one of yours. I would not expect them to be the same. You might have similar strategies, like the strategy might be similar, but the code itself, I would kind of expect to be a little different here and there. Sweet. Do you think you want more time with this project? I know 2 of you got it done. I could give you another like bonus
Yes, please.
project, but would you want another day with this tic tac toe?
Yeah, I would.
I would as well.
Cool. And then John and Colby give you like another thing to do. Sound good? Give you another game. Or do you want to pick your own?
I don't have any ideas, so I
Like
would
Connect
love for you to give
4.
us something.
Ooh, Connect 4 would be good.
Mm.
It'd be similar. Connect 4 is kind of like the same thing, right?
The functionality would be very, very different.
So what's like red and black? Yeah.
I mean, I'll try it if you want us to, but no promises.
If you want to make it really
Actually,
hard, we could do
that'd be a
a
little more.
drop game.
That'd be a little harder. Okay, anyway, we'll think of something. Let's take a break. Let's do like a 15-minute break, come back at 12:05.